So I'm curious what the atmosphere on set was like, because the fraternity vibe definitely comes across. Did it ever feel like that when you were shooting?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all got along very well. And then everyone just kind of feeds off Nick Stoller's energy, and he's just like the sweetest man in the world, and he's laughing harder than anyone during these takes, and so there was just that overall vibe to everything.
And what was were you guys able to improv? I heard that, you guys had writers on set and you were always just kind of ad-libbing. I mean, what was that like?
A lot of improv. There was a big safety net, though. You've got some of the most talented writers out there sort of shouting really ridiculous lines at you. And if you just kind of stop thinking and say it, it's gold.
Exactly.
You just can't get in your head because...
Yeah.
If you think about it too long, you will psych yourself out.
Right. And it's a little scary, when you're doing this much improv, just because certain days you wake up and you're sick or you're tired or whatever, and you just don't have it that day. But then in our case, we had 5 writers watching every take at the monitor and just giving us gold and just making it so we couldn't fail.
That sounds interesting. I mean, I've never really heard of that. Was that a new experience for you?
Yeah, sort of. I think it reminded me of like theater and like stand up or improv or something like that. I don't know. It's unusual. It's very welcomed though.
Yes.
Very welcomed.
Yeah.
I love the process and like, yeah. I hope to adopt it.
Right.
Furthermore,
there was definitely a level of that on Jump Street, but not to the extent of this. Just because again, there was 5 of them,
right?
And so it's just all of their minds working. It's just, there's 1 million jokes that aren't used in the movie. That it's just going to be the greatest DVD of all time.
Right, like 3 hours about
exactly.
There's
exactly.
a lot.
Was it fun to kind of tap into your inner frat bro?
Yeah, sure. I guess what I like about my character in this is that at first you think it's a similar character that I've played in the past, of like the more kind of douchey, asshole, whatever guy. But I get to kind of transform a little bit and you get to see a more vulnerable side, a more driven, motivated, softer, protagonist-y side. So I was glad to just have a somewhat of a departure from these roles that I've played recently.
Did you feel like you were getting typecast as a douchebag?
Sure. And again, it was like fun to do it first just because it's fun to do something completely outside of yourself. But at this point, it's like I've completely exhausted that role. There's nothing else I can do with it. So
I heard you guys actually hazed poor ass juice a little bit in real life.
Yeah, dude, where'd those videos come from?
You weren't there that day.
I was not there that day. Yeah.
What did you do?
What did we do?
It's like the haze.
This is for the film. Like, it wasn't like we were just like...
You guys went method with it.
Right. But
for the movie,
what did we do? We woke him up into a kiddie pool of mud and condoms. We woke him up literally into another Pledge Brothers butthole.
That's a pretty common prank.
Right. Made him eat dog food. Again, all for the movie. But, you can't fake that. We were actually hazing the kid.
I'm sure it didn't get old for him, right?
Sure.
He was a stud. He was down for it.
Yeah.
And Seth is such a funny guy. I mean, what's it like working opposite him?
It's really fun to improv with him because everything just sort of builds. Like, you can't really surprise him. I feel like he's prepared for...
And you can't say... There's nothing you can say that's too stupid. If you say something really dumb, he's just going to turn it into something really funny. And it's just... You're flying when you're working with Seth. At first, it's intimidating because you don't want to slow down the scene, and you're working with one of the funniest people on the planet, but he just brings you with him.